You said that the energy of money, bribes, will not do good for the beneficiary. The question is, what about the money and the goods that one gets from a lawyer's activity when you're given these bribes? Whoa, what a good question. It all depends on what your attitude to that is. In this regard, I like a phrase from the Bible where Apostle Paul said, "No law, no sin." When a law is made, there appears an opportunity to sin against it. For example, in Ukraine we have a law, 5 years of prison for polygamy. In the East, I had a client from Ukraine who was married to a sheikh, a son of the president of the Arab Emirates. She was the 300th wife. There were 11 more after her. That is 311 women. That's okay, isn't it? Who are you? I'm your wife number 27. Put the figure 27 on you since I thought you were the 28th. Well, I joked about it. I said, "Listen, I'm just interested. Does he arrange orgies?" Imagining he says like, "Wow, all 300, come on." No, only one at a time. Just to screw it up. Such an opportunity to have all these women legally and make love with only one at a time? It's just foobar. I say, he is just a putz, a jackass. He could allow himself, okay, so literally, on the planet Earth, you take a plane, go there, you have many wives, you're cool. You come to Ukraine and go to prison. Even with 2 women you had married. So, that is the question of which law it is. The same thing is, you come to Amsterdam, roll up a joint, smoke it, it's okay. You come to another country where it is forbidden, hello prison, for 5 years or so. You get it, don't you? No law, no sin. You make a law and create an opportunity to sin against it. So if you create a law for yourself, like, if I eat meat, I will become, say, an elephant. That's all. You will not become an elephant, but you will apparently have problems because your genetics will try to make you an elephant. You'll have distortions in your metabolic processes and everything else. So, everything depends on what your attitude is towards the actions you commit. As I have already said, you may change your attitude to glass, walk on it, and never cut yourself. The question is, do you need to walk on glass? In that case, when you do something, you may define for yourself the values and postulates that you have, because we do not always have enough love and capacity for us to be warm and fuzzy, conscious and rich. All honest money comes to us and we're cool. We just have to accept the situation that exists and determine whether it is evil for the greater world around us. Because if the money you had taken as a bribe and those people committed something bad in the world, then it will not do you good, and it will create the conditions for something not very good to happen to you. Did you hear me? That is, when I'm asked in terms of energy, now I'm speaking in terms of energy, how bad is it to have many sex partners, for instance? I say, in terms of energy, you may have one jackass husband, negative, aggressive, conservative vampire, and you will have all the diseases you may imagine, although you stayed faithful to that man. I have an example. A woman came to me who had a whole list of chronic diseases. I said, until you get divorced from your husband, I will not look at it, because he is the killer of your energy, and I'm surprised you're still alive. After you get divorced, we will look at what, as a result, should be done for you to recover. After a year, she came to me. She got divorced and she said, "Sasha, my diseases are gone. I did not take treatments." Just remove vampires away from your life, which means take a serious decision to surround yourself with only people who think positively. If there are none, just remove those who think negatively, and you will get creative people when you start thinking creatively. Give thanks. Communicate as equals. Say no to what degrades you, and say yes to what develops you. Admit honestly when you were wrong and try to change it. That is why, theoretically, one may have 100 partners, but if they're in love, are happy, healthy, and live by the sun in positivity, then you multiply your energy and become happier, richer, more successful. Or one may have 100 partners and just die from the first of them. 99 will not come up, as it will be like a black hole which killed you. I have a client who is younger than me. Once we talked, everything was cool. He came to me after 3 years, and I didn't recognize him. He started talking about who he was, and I said, "I don't recognize you." Then I finally recognized him by the events which we had discussed, and I said, "Listen, you got old. You look 20 years older." He said, "I got married." I said, "Listen, you should get divorced because a couple of years more, and dude, you will be buried. Listen, you are younger than me, but you look like my dad. Well, a little worse." That is, he gave way in all respects, but it is his loss. He took a vampire wife, a conservative, who did not take any responsibility and was afraid of losing him. She sucked the lifeblood out of him, and he walks just like a dead mummy pretending he wants to live. So, I want to tell you that even in such cases, one should clearly realize for oneself, any energy determines the action you commit, and, for example, at the moment, we have a state where there are a lot of laws which I would like to change. Because, for example, in Ukraine, a customs clearance is probably one of the most expensive in the world. We may probably compete with Singapore only. We are just very rich people, so we drive Tavrias and Zhigulis, and in the western Ukraine they even ride horses, just because we have nothing to spend money on, so we awfully love antique cars. So our president says, well, if there's a leather interior, can you pay for that? Yes, but you will pay for the environment, and you will also create conditions in our country to have better cars. So the thing is, it is important what your actions lead to. If you kill the innocent, if you harm people who go to development and are in love, then you will be punished anyway, even if you do that according to the laws of your state. But if you do something with love and consciously, and it will lead to love and harmonization in the future, then there will be no punishment. I will repeat once again, no law, no sin, but everything depends on what you do, with what intention, and what it will lead to. That is why I will say it straightforward. When we see any product, no matter technical or cooked food, they are directly linked with the energy of the person who made it. That is why I sold Tesla shares before they grew, although I told everyone they would grow in November last year. I sold them a week before they grew. Why? I could have lacked the will to sell them when they would bring me a 5-fold profit. The reason is, one should invest in those who develop the world. Elon Musk destroys it, and many people do not realize it. Again, this is my personal opinion, and everyone may do as they think proper. But because I intend to cardinally change something in life, if you remember, I said, who lacks money for my seminars or webinars or a personal consultation, do not come to me. We will upload a lot of free content, or we will upload the content for less than $5 with access to a sponsored channel, but do not come to me. Why? If you earned your money with hard labor, if you regret you spent it on me, I would better give it back to you. It will not bring me happiness and wealth. It will not bring success or implementation. because people who pay me money unwillingly, this money will create conditions for it to implement where there will be an unwillingness. And that means disease, problems, and troubles. That is why we have a strict selection and we purposefully create conditions so that as few people who cannot afford to come to see me. At the same time, we create content for them which they can watch without coming to me. Why do I do that? I traced it very clearly. If a person does something through tension, through greed, it will never bring happiness to them or to me. That is why even those who get a consultation and then stamp their feet thinking that I said a lot of negative things or touched upon the themes they were not ready to hear, though many things coincided and they demanded I urgently return their money to them. I tell my accountant, return it without any questions. We don't need it. It will bring us trouble. Let the person bear the responsibility for not wanting to accept what he asked for. In principle, I'm totally cool about it. Even to my debtors who owe me money, I ultimately offer very good conditions of returning it. No bank ever offers such conditions. I forgive 30%, and they may return it in 10 years without any interest. Do you know what? Most of the people refused. I told them it was their lucky day, and they do not owe me anything. And do you know what? I traced only 2 of them. One is in jail. The other one is totally bankrupt. Now, the banks call me. Do you know that person? He owes us a lot of money, and they used to be very successful people. The reason is one single thing. They chose money instead of friendship. They looked at it. It is a large sum. Why return it? Better not communicate with him. One little nuance. I wished them love and good and said that if I do not need them to return the money, let them by no means return it to me. Let them come to me in a completely different way, and let it be for good and for pleasure. Because even if they returned it to me, but they felt greed, they would serve for my destruction and for the negative. As a result, in a short time, much more money came to me, and those people got very serious problems, as they worked out all my sins for me to be able to get the money which came to me, well, to put it mildly, clear money with paid taxes. So, it is not logical. That is why when I speak with automobile sales managers or realtors or bankers, I tell them, learn to say no to those people for whom this real estate does not fit, or that car will not be for good. You know exactly, you feel this person will come and will be happy driving that car or living in that house, and another person does not like it at all and does it from his mind. Never persuade or ask that person to buy anything from you. What does that give? First, it's breaking the pattern, because everyone is used to persuading and earning on that, and how to motivate, switch on the NLP for him to flip over and buy what he does not need. But the thing is that the money which will come to you, it will create conditions for you to experience the same as you have just fooled the person who is your client. So, the extent to which you will say, no, that is not your apartment, go to my competitors and buy from them, it'll fit you. Then a person will come who will buy your apartment for his good, and that money will go to your good. You will spend it for yourself, improving your health, wealth, and development. When we behaved like that with my clients, who relaxed and started to do so, they rose very high in financial terms. That is why our principle is, we return the money to those who did not show up. We return the money to those who did not like it. We are not going to create conditions to work out the other people's karma if someone did not like it. But we are trying to make them not come to us. That is why we very clearly peel apart everyone through my tough presentation of information. I mean, I upload a clip about cats or vegetarians. People immediately squirm and unsubscribe, and I say, cool, perfect. Just as people manifest discontent and say, you, Palienko, are too categorical, you don't give, they immediately are banned. Why? Because either you are in unison with us or you do not want. You may go your own way. Find your person and move in unison with him where it is comfortable and cozy for you. Of course, I am rather tough for one reason only. I have to peel apart those who are not on my wavelength. Because if you attract the weak, and they do not want to take responsibility, and they quietly create conditions to be near, be fueled by your energy while you stumble, that is why I am rather categorical, and I found an interesting thing. Last year there was a pandemic. Yes, last year. I behaved toughly with my 2 old acquaintances who have known me for a very long time. They went to all of my events for free, but they thought through negation. They would get offended, hold empty conversations, choose the worst and always find excuses for morons. In some moment, I realized that I do not want to do that anymore. I told them, guys, you come to me for the same fee as everyone else. That is all. The limit of my trust is reached. I can see that free attendance to my events does not do you any good. Since then, neither of them came to me or my events anymore. And I'm glad about it, as I found that my financial status improved threefold. Once again, I want to say, to what extent you remove from your field the people who think through negation, fear, get offended, hold empty conversations, complain, always choose the cheap, always try to get things for half price, remove them from your field for shit. You will immediately have multiples as much in financial terms, and if you don't boast about it and be glad about it, you will get still more. That's it, folks.